Hello, I am Ghostiebelle, your undead witch that likes to collect souls. Today on Movie Time with Ghosty, I would like to talk about the Final Destination franchise. We are first going to start talking about Jeffrey Riddick, the producer of the Final Destination franchise. Jeffrey Riddick originally wrote The Final Destination as an X-File episode, but a colleague of his told him that it would be better off as a movie. And they were correct, going on to make 6 movies with a lifetime gross of $378 million, with all 6 of them. The lowest opening night being Final Destination, and the highest opening night being Final Destination Bloodlines, the new one. Jeffrey originally wanted Clive Barker to direct the movie, but he had to turn him down because he had pretty much retired from directing films after clashing with studios over his last films, which left us with different directors for most movies. Now, getting into the movies themselves, we have Final Destination, released March 17th, 2000, directed by James Wong, with Rotten Tomatoes being 41%, with a 4.3 stars. Final Destination 1 is about a bunch of teens going to Paris. One teen has the premonition that leads to a bunch of other unfortunate circumstances, which causes him and a few others to get off the plane. Throughout the movie, Death seems to be upset that they were not on the plane. Now, proceeding to Final Destination 2, that was released January 31st of 2003. Directed by David R. Ellis, Rotten Tomatoes 52%, 4.3 stars. This one here has one of the most iconic scenes that has given many people PTSD of log trucks. Beginning, a bunch of teenagers are going on a trip. As most Final Destinations go, we know the story. Vision, death. Final Destination 3, which came out February 10th, 2006, directed by James Wong again. Rotten Tomatoes 44% and 4 stars. This one here had the few best deaths in my opinion, and great character growth. This one is about the roller coaster, where a bunch of teens are at a bunch of carnival rides. One roller coaster goes haywire, and we know the gist. The next one is The Final Destination, which came out August 28th, 2009, directed by David R. Ellis, Rotten Tomatoes 28%, 3 stars. This one here, I personally did not like the most. It did a lot of CGI, and it was the race track. A bunch of people there watching a bunch of race cars, things go awire, and we know what happens. Final Destination 5, which came out August 12, 2011, directed by Stephen Quell. Rotten Tomatoes 63% and 4 stars. This one here, the deaths got more interesting as a group of co-workers go off onto a business trip. The bridge collapses and makes me terrified to ever cross a gigantic bridge. Now, the new one that recently came out, Final Destination Bloodlines, came out May 16th, 2025. Directors Adam Stein and Zach Lebowski, known for the movie Freaks, has a Rotten Tomatoes of the highest 93% and 4.4 stars. This one here had the best score and other things that I would just recommend to go and watch. One interesting fact about this one is the directors were already close to securing the director's job for the film, but what set them over the edge with excitement was the fact that during a Zoom meeting, the fireplace behind them flared up and caught the mantle on fire. But that wasn't the worst of it. The ceiling fan above them broke loose, crashing down and beheading one of the directors. Now, we all know this was fake, otherwise they wouldn't have been able to direct the film. But if I was the producer, that's who I would want. That is the best way to audition, in my opinion. Now on to some little tidbits about the Final Destination franchise. Most studios did not like the idea of death being invisible, that they did not have a visible killer, which was kinda unique for its time. My Final Destination came out around the time that Scream did, which led Jeffrey Riddick to change them from being adults to being teens in most of the movies. Another interesting fact is that in the early installments of the movies, several characters were named after famous horror filmmakers. A good example is Valerie Luton, one of the teachers in the Final Destination movie, the first Final Destination. The name is based off of Val Luton, the producer of the 1942's Cat People. Another interesting fact is that grand total with all 6 movies, there's a total death count of 585. Number 1 being the first movie with over 292 deaths, along with the fact that the Final Destination 5 poster was banned in the UK because it made children cry. I'm gonna be fully honest, it's not that scary, but kids are weak.
I'm too weak.
Kids are weak. Along with Final Destination 3, the actors had to ride that roller coaster more than 25 times, even taking bets on who would get sick first. Now, if any of the actors or anyone that worked on that set could tell me who won that bet, I would absolutely love to know.
Pretty please.
Also with Final Destination 3 had a very unique DVD that came out with it where you can choose the options. Basically, they had a choose your own death, which had multiple different endings, changed certain scenes, and several other things. There was a scene in that DVD where if you got them to get off the roller coaster before Wendy had the premonition, everybody survived. It was really cool. Now, another interesting fact for those that have seen Final Destination 6, this is a slight spoiler, but if you look closely, every movie is connected, I promise. But the Penny Kid, you know who I'm talking about, still dies by the piano, by the way. Another thing about Final Destination 3, the news article at the end that said Kimberly and Thomas were killed in a wood chipper, not canon. I believe so far to this date, they are the only ones that have kind of survived. Don't quote me on that. Again, in number 6 does tie in every single movie. You just need to look closely. Actually, look closely in every single movie. Every single movie does tie in a little bit. The first 2 are probably the closest, following by the 6 being the closest to all of them. Noting certain things and making it very unique, kinda giving you the full circle. Going into several of these Final Destination movies after years of not watching them has made me understand that movies have grown a lot. Yes, the first few Final Destinations were good, still are good, but have changed with time. With Final Destination Bloodlines, they have upped their gore games. They have added a few very good actors, and one that I would like to point out who, I will not lie, I would go really feral for, and I mean feral, would have to be the person that played Eric Campbell, also known as Richard Harmon. He is absolutely gorgeous, along with the fact that he had some of the greatest lines. One of them being the fact that it had to be repeated 3 times because the movie theater that I went to go watch this movie in lost power, it was great for 3 times in a row. I promise you, that man can get it. With death being a very interesting thing and very unique in these movies, gives you a good twist on how horror movies can be. Telling you that everyday items and everyday moments like dentist appointments, eye appointments, traveling or flying, death can get you anywhere. And it's okay. As long as you give me your souls.
Your soul is mine.
Okay. I would like to finish this off with me rating the series from 1 through 6, my favorite to my least. Number 1 is Final Destination 6, with the best graphics in my opinion. Number 2 is Final Destination 3. The roller coaster scenes were great. I love some of the deaths. Number 3, Final Destination 2, which gave everyone in a whole generation PTSD. Number 4, Final Destination 1, the OG, which was great. It brought me into the series. Number 5 is Final Destination 5. I loved the bridge collapse. I really don't ever want to be on one of those. At number 6, my least favorite is The Final Destination, which is Final Destination 4. I did not like the type of CGI that was done for it or some of the scenes. If you like this type of content, please let me know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.